here at Point Lookout State Park in Maryland. A lot of different things that you can see here. This was once home to a prisoner of war camp during the Civil War. There is a reconstructed Civil War fort type thing. There's a visitor center here, there's a museum, and there is also a lighthouse. But you also get some great views here of the Chesapeake Bay, but absolutely beautiful view here of the bay. Kind of a different construction here of the lighthouse. This one seems to be set on top of a home type structure, which is always pretty cool to see compared to some of the more traditional lighthouses. But I would say more than likely that's probably where the lighthouse keeper and his family lived, or her family lived. There are these two really large sheds here with what looks like kind of train tracks which extend out here. So I don't know if there was a train system here at one time. You can kind of see it goes out into the water there a little bit. So I'm not quite sure why that's here. Pretty cool lights. Let's see what's over here. Oh, this area looks kind of modern. Maybe it was just redone over the past few years. So here's a little bit more history about the Civil War portion of the park here. Apparently right here, so right here's the lighthouse, and here's the parking area for the lighthouse, and there's this little plaque here in the middle. But it says you are standing on the site of the Hammond General Hospital, located at Point Lookout, Maryland, in 1862. So apparently this surgeon, William A. Hammond, pretty much transformed the way that the armies treated their wounded and their sick during the Civil War. And here's a picture of the island that we are, or the peninsula that we're on right now. There was at one time this hospital that was created, and there was also this, which was, where does it say? The nation's largest Confederate prisoner of war camp, Camp Hoffman, was right here. So I guess that's what they mentioned farther up. So I might drive up there and see if there's any literature or information up there about that, because that sounds pretty interesting. Right, so now I'm here at the swimming beach area that they have and the picnic kind of grove that they have. A lot of different picnic tables here. A whole bunch of different places where you can cook. Have like a little charcoal stove. And then there is a main building here. I don't know if it's a snack shop or not, but you can see on the other side there's picnic tables there as well. So it looks like this is just a bathhouse. Outdoor showers. Pretty nice facility. There's a couple little plaques here. Talks a little bit more about the history. The lighthouse. Built a lighthouse in 1830. I don't think that's the lighthouse from 1830, but maybe it is. Kind of looks like it. A little bit, yeah, there it is, right where we just were. So I guess there was a hotel there at one time, up until the 1970s, yeah. And it was torn down in 1989. Huh, pretty cool. A lot of history down there. You can just see the top of the lighthouse right there. Well, not much of a beach. I guess that's why there's so many picnic tables. It goes all the way down here. All the way down there, I believe. Here's a little shot from this end. We started all the way up at the top there. You can still see the lighthouse. Really nice view. A couple nice breakwaters. I think we're gonna get a good sunset. Probably got about an hour before sunset, but see the rest of the beach area here. Keep walking up and see what these white buildings are. Well, it's not quite sunset yet, but I was asked by a park ranger to start packing up and making my way out. This is a pretty cool little park. There's a lighthouse here. There's a reconstructed Civil War fort. There is a lot of American history here, from the War of 1812 to the Civil War to shipwrecks that happened out here. Here we are at the confluence of the Chesapeake Bay and the Potomac River, which is right behind me. This is the bottom of a major river here, which takes you up into Washington, D.C. and all the way out into western Maryland. It's pretty incredible. Again, I'm back here at Point Lookout State Park in Maryland. Back in Maryland, so that's always good. Well, after a lot of driving, I have made it to my next destination. It's been a couple days since I've had some seafood, and I'm back in Maryland now. I just crossed over the Potomac River. I tried to make a little stop before coming here to George Washington's birthplace National Historic Site. Unfortunately, it is closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. Today is a Tuesday, so I was pretty bummed about that. But if you ever come up through this way, you can visit the National Historic Site there, George Washington's birthplace. You can also visit General Lee's birthplace is also in that vicinity, as well as President James Monroe. So a lot of very well-known American names there. Then you can visit some of the places that I guess they called home for a little bit. So I was pretty bummed that they were not open, or at least the one that I wanted to go visit wasn't open. So I decided I would treat myself this afternoon to an early dinner, late lunch, and I'm gonna get some seafood. I'm hoping to get some crabs today. I'm in a little town called Cobb Island, and the restaurant that I'm going to be trying out is called Captain John's Crab House, and it has been voted the best seafood restaurant here in Cobb Island. So let's go see what all the hype's about. Good. Oh my gosh, am I full? Wow. Well, that was pretty good. I started off with an order of hush puppies, which if you've never had them before, they are like these little cornmeal, sugar, onion, spice little fritters, and they deep fry them. And they usually give you some honey butter with them, which is what I got. Oh my god, my phone is covered in crab juice. So I did a dozen mediums, which were about 6 to 8 inches wide. That was $45 for the dozen, which I didn't think was too bad. And it doesn't come with anything, just the crabs, and they usually steam them in some type of like Old Bay seasoned salt type thing. And as you saw, they came out on a big platter, and you go to town. And today I'm getting ready to explore a couple little things. Right now I'm here at Calvert Cliffs State Park in Calvert County, Maryland. I'm going to be taking a nice little hike today out to a beach. And one really cool thing about this park is it's known for fossils. It's known for shark teeth. So I'm really hoping that I could find maybe something in the sand, but who knows. I'm about an hour south of the Annapolis area, right here along the Chesapeake Bay. And this park is relatively small. There is a playground here and a public bathroom, but the main draw to the park is this trail. It's called the Red Trail, and it's about 1.8 miles out to the main beach area. It's a really cool morning. It's probably about 60 degrees. The sun is out. Perfect day for a little hike. So you can see here, I'm about 1/10 of a mile in so far, but here is the Red Trail sign. I'm not sure where that trail goes, but we're going to follow this one. I actually had kind of a rough night last night. It took me a really long time to fall asleep. And then I was up pretty early. I was up around 4:30. Nothing woke me up. I just woke up. And then I was wide awake after that. I hate that feeling. When you wake up super early and you're not tired anymore and you can't fall back asleep. But around 8 o'clock, I drove to a Wawa and got some breakfast, and here we are. So yeah, here's a little open section of the trail. The trail's right there and opens up here quite a bit. Oh wow, it really opens up here. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Looks like I'm gonna have to walk through some water here. Man, what a sight. I get to walk with the fish. Alright, looks like we're coming up to the beach here. Another 1/10 of a mile. Here's a little signboard here talking about the fossils of Cowher Cliffs. It's pretty cool. So one of the main reasons why this beach is named this way is because of just down here to my left. You can see massive erosion. It's been taking place for centuries. And as the erosion continues, because of rain and wind and all that, begins to expose all the fossils that are still in the bedrock. So it's pretty cool what you can find here. It's also not the biggest beach, maybe 1/10 of a mile long. You can see there's one end, so you can't go past that, which is really unfortunate because that's kind of the draw to come here. And then it continues down just to about right here. But in the meantime, you can kind of scour the shoreline here and see what you can find. So here's a little bit better view of what the cliff structure looks like. And it's just clay. I mean, you can walk up to it and just take little pieces of it. So it's extremely, extremely fragile. One of the reasons why they don't really like people being back here. But pretty cool nonetheless. Well, you win some, you lose some, and I did not find any, unfortunately. I spent about 45 minutes looking. You need like some heavy-duty beachcombing type equipment. Baskets and sifters and nets and stuff like that. It's just, it's very tough to see, and some of them are often very small, and you just kind of disregard them and don't even realize that they're teeth, and once you drop them, they're gone. Oh well, it was a really nice walk to get out here, and very peaceful. Again, not a lot of people. So, but now I'm going to make the trek back to the van, and we'll head on up to Annapolis. Well, now I am here in the great city of Annapolis. I know that being on the Chesapeake Bay, everybody kind of thinks of Baltimore. Baltimore is a very large city, and it's not so van friendly. So I decided to come to Annapolis. One, it's the state capital. So I'm excited to walk around the state capitol grounds and go through the state capitol building, which I always like to do. It's a very historic town. At one time, the United States Congress met here back in the 1700s, but there's a lot of history here. I'm also going to try to walk around the U.S. Naval Academy. That is here. So I'm going to try and walk through there, walk around their campus, and I believe there's a couple different buildings that you can walk through that are open to the public. Hopefully get a nice little lunch and just do a bunch of walking. It's a beautiful day, and yeah, I'm going to take advantage of it. Wow, what a beautiful building. Alright, so I have made it back to my car. Man, it has been a long day of walking. About almost 4 miles of walking around down at Calvert Cliffs, and then probably another 4 or 5 miles just walking around here in Annapolis. But well worth it for sure. This is a beautiful, beautiful city. It is, you know, there's brick-lined streets, there's old homes, very historic homes. We walked through the state capitol building, we saw the different chamber houses and all that kind of stuff. And then we walked downtown, down to the marina area. They were having a big boat show this weekend, actually, or I guess this whole week. So downtown was very, very crowded. But there's a lot of different restaurants and shops downtown along the Main Street area. Highly recommend visiting that section, just because there's a whole bunch of different restaurants to try out, and they're very eclectic. Not just seafood, it's Italian, there's breweries, there's wineries, you know, American style food as well. Really cool. And then I was able to walk over to the Naval Academy. So there is a visitor center there, as well as like a little museum. You do have to go through security to get in. There are definitely signs telling you which buildings to stay out of, but for the most part, all the major buildings are open to the public. The chapel, walked around the chapel. What a beautiful building. Holy cow. Just a stunning, stunning, beautiful building. So walked around some type of memorial hall, which had a bunch of, it kind of looked like a big ballroom, actually. Another beautiful, beautiful building. And throughout the campus, there are different types of artillery kind of all around, with little plaques saying where they're from and things like that. It's a beautiful campus to walk around, and it's free. So I didn't have to pay anything to get in here. There's a little 15-minute video you can watch in the visitor center. So it's a really cool experience. You see the cadets and all that kind of stuff walking around, you know, and you could probably definitely stop them and ask them questions if you wanted to. So I thought that was pretty cool. All in all, I thought it was just a really beautiful city, and I'm really glad that I fit this into my trip. I wanted to be in at least one other bigger city besides like Virginia Beach, Norfolk area. So I'm really glad that I decided to come to Annapolis just for its history, to see the state capitol building and everything that is around here. I highly recommend people come here. It's super safe. It's very clean. The people are very friendly. All the restaurants are very friendly. Just a really cool town altogether. So I have one more stop before I end this video. So I'm going to make my way towards, I believe I'm sleeping at a truck stop tonight, the Maryland State Rest area. So it's a little bit before rush hour, but I'm going to try and make it up there, and I will see everybody tomorrow morning. Hello and good morning once again. Right now I am at my final stop for this video. I'm here all the way up at the northern tip of the Chesapeake Bay. You can see it behind me. So you can see now that we are at the northern portion. You can definitely see, you know, all the way across there. This peninsula right out here is where we were about 7 days ago, and that is where the Turkey Point Lighthouse is. But now I'm here in a little town called Havre de Grace, Maryland, and they have a lighthouse. So let's go see what it looks like. So this is another really beautiful town here in the northern part of the Chesapeake Bay. Again, I'm here in Havre de Grace, Maryland, not too far from the Turkey Point Lighthouse, like I mentioned earlier. It's just across the water, so I'm kind of back in the area where I first started a couple days ago. So this is the confluence of the Susquehanna River and the Chesapeake Bay. The Susquehanna River goes all the way up through, kind of cuts right through the middle of the state of Pennsylvania. So a major supplier of water to the bay, as well as the Potomac River, which we saw yesterday. So a lot of these contributaries that feed the bay bring in a lot of different types of waterfowl and just some beautiful scenery here. This is a really nice little park. This is Concord Point Park here in the town. There's the lighthouse. You can tour that. I believe on Saturdays and Sundays. There is a keeper's house here that you can also take a tour of, again, on Saturdays and Sundays. The Havre de Grace Maritime Museum is also here, as well as the Havre de Grace Decoy Museum. So there's two really cool museums that you can check out here as well. But this is a pretty historic town here in Maryland. Again, this is at the very bottom of the Susquehanna River, so it was very important to maintaining this area, especially during the War of 1812. Havre de Grace has some very interesting War of 1812 history. The town was sacked upon and burned by the British in 1813, and it was initially defended by one man with 2 cannons. So it's pretty incredible to learn about the history here. It's just a really neat way to round out this trip for me. As I come to the end of this video series, hopefully I did a good job of showing everybody, again, just a very small portion of what the Chesapeake Bay has to offer. It is a beautiful, beautiful part of America. There's quite a significant amount of American history here that took place on the bay, from George Washington to Harriet Tubman to the War of 1812 and the Civil War. I was also able to learn about the Chesapeake Bay maritime history from different shipwrecks that took place here, from all the lighthouses that we were able to see, the maritime museums that we were able to view. I was also able to tour some really beautiful bayside towns. We were in St. Michael's, we were in Cambridge, I was in Cape Charles, Virginia, Rock Hall, Maryland, all the different little villages, fishing villages that I took little drives through. Just some beautiful historic places that you can visit. Each and every one of them are different in their own right, and I highly recommend that you check as many of them as you can off your bucket list. And I think ultimately I was able to show just the beauty of the Chesapeake Bay, whether it was touring Eastern Neck National Wildlife Refuge, Blackwater Wildlife National Refuge, some of the different beaches that I was able to see. Hopefully I was able to highlight the beauty of the Chesapeake Bay and just really encourage people to come and visit for themselves. Once again, I only showed you about maybe 10% of everything that you can see and do here, but this was definitely a lot for me to try and fit into 3 videos. Even it's just a lot. It was quite a bit of work for me to do, and now I get the fun job of editing it and putting it all together so it makes somewhat of sense. But I had a lot of fun. It was a great 8 days. I had great weather, saw a lot of really interesting things, and I think it was a success for me. So I appreciate it if you made it to the end of this video. I appreciate it if you watched all 3 of these videos. I thought it was pretty cool and a great opportunity to show people what the Bay has to offer. So I'm going to end this video here, and I will see everybody on the next video. Take care.